Okay. All right. Now I'm on YouTube also. As you can see me there. On the Zoom also. But I selected some people who wanted to join, so I sent them personal invitation. But we will we will see them as they come up. Okay. Uh, so we are really spending time in this season of joy and peace looking for them outwardly, right? But ancients really showed us the way is inward, and the way to find the peace of your mind by stilling the mind and remaining calm in the emotional turmoil and really enjoying that peace and that innate joy. They call that ananda, that kind of flowers when you understood what is the important thing about that. Okay. So I was paying attention to that. Okay. So when I was looking at what are the things that we measure are always outward, like how is the GDP, how is the consumer sentiment, and how we are finding ourselves confronting um, an uncomfortable paradox. Economic indicators climb, uh, economic indicators climb while inner peace quietly declines. That's the lot of our modern people, right? We have built elaborate systems to measure quarterly earnings, market fluctuations, and productivity metrics. At the fundamental well being of the human beings powering these systems, the human beings are the one who are powering these systems, right? That remains invisible on our dashboards. So this presentation really explores why joy, contentment, and inner resilience have been systematically excluded from our definition of progress and introduces our system, PAW, proactive wellness, as a framework for restoring what has been lost. Okay, that's the purpose of this meeting. See, the paradox we are living is we measure the growth, but not the grower. I say who is producing the growth. Quarterly reports track revenue, market share, and expansion. Yet the mental health, energy levels, and inner vitality of the people creating that growth, that is not measured. Unmeasured, unmonitored, and unseen, right? That's something that we all relate to. We understand that too, but if you take what we track the spending, but not the well being. Consumer confidence indices, they tell us how willing people are to purchase something. They don't reveal whether these purchases bring lasting satisfaction or simply mask an inner emptiness. That's why people are going and doing the shopping for that. And then we optimize systems, but not the human instrument. We have engineered remarkable efficiency into supply chains, algorithms, and workflows, right? The human nervous system operating within those workflows. Do we know it? No. Where often it is strained, the human nervous system, depleted, and running on fumes, right? So, what isn't measured, what is not measured, does not become a mandate. And if you don't have a mandate, what doesn't become a mandate rarely receives investment, attention, or cultural priority. That is the truth. That's what is happening within our capitalistic system, right? So, what gives? Why joy and peace became invisible in our metrics? Measurement bias. That's one thing. GDP is concrete, countable, and comparable across nations. You can compare them, right? Sentiment into those indexes, they emerge from surveys with clean numerical output. We know the sentiment, which way is going. These metrics uh, are easy to capture, standardize, and report. Whereas inner resilience, the capacity to remain centered amid chaos. The capacity to remain centered amid chaos, that is difficult, right? Or to access calm attention, or to draw from deep reserves of meaning. You see, that is, they are equally real, but they cannot be measured. They're hard to quantify, right? So it gets quietly excluded from boardroom dashrooms, right? So that is the measurement bias that is there. An incentive bias also. Markets reward speed, scale, and consumption. Platforms reward attention and outrage. Then institutions reward throughput, productivity, and measurable outputs. That's the incentive bias. Okay. There's no quarterly bonus for cultivating stillness, no pitch investor pitch deck that celebrates increases self-awareness. Nothing, right? The external game is loud, urgent, and reinforced everywhere. While the inner game, silence, the attention, and all that, that remains whisper quiet. Everybody has to enjoy for themselves. That's all. So the motor loop is external success becomes addictive. Okay, but the inner fulfillment becomes unfamiliar in the modern life. We have more conveniences but less consciousness. One click purchases and instant deliveries, they remove friction from consumption. They make it easier for you to consume. They're easier to order things and get things and all that. Okay. But also they remove the pause where awareness lives. Instant. You feel like it, you order it. You don't have any pause. You don't have to come and say, do I really need this? That kind of thing. So more convenience, they're making it easier to consume, but less conscious about what our brain is that really needed, is that really going to bring me fulfillment or not. That pause is not there. And then there's so much stimulation, more stimulation and less stillness. See, notifications, news feeds, and entertainment streams, they're all ensuring we are never bored and never quite enough to hear ourselves think. We don't even pay attention to our own thinking, right? And then there is so much more information and less integration. See, we consume data of unprecedented rates now, but rarely pause to digest or reflect or integrate what we have learned into wisdom. We don't integrate that. More information, less integration into wisdom. And then more comparison and less contentment. So social platforms turn everyone's highlight reel into a mirror, making whatever we have, we feel is inadequate, insufficient. So joy gets outsourced to products, validation, and outcomes. When the next achievement arrives, the fulfillment lasts hours, then the craving returns again. It is never fulfilled completely. Okay, that's the personal experience of many people. You can look at yourself. You understand. Now, the ancient counterbalance is a timeless operating system for the human being. It is relevant then, relevant now. What it is about knowing inwardly and developing outer skills. Gnana is the name for the inner knowing, self knowledge before self marketing, stillness before strategy and the noise, and awareness before accumulation. That is all inner knowing. Whereas outer skills, which are needed also, skillful action in the world, service without burnout, and prosperity with equanimity, all these things, this is the ability to move through the world effectively, earning, serving, creating, leading, without being consumed by the outcomes or crushed by the pace. That is what is happening. Too fast for too many people, too many things, too many outcomes. They're getting immersed in that. So we want to tune the human instrument before deploying it. Develop the inner resilience before you go and tackle the life. That kind of thing. Uh, See, it's a violin of tune products and discard no matter how skilled the musician is. So, a violin out of tune produces discord no matter how skilled the musician is. Musician may be good, but the violin is out of tune, it produces discord, right? A human being out of alignment produces stress, reactivity, and diminished performance. No matter how impressive the resume is, if the human being is out of alignment, he will not be able to produce very well, right? We know that, but we don't pay attention to this. Okay, so I call these inner metrics that I'm talking about. If you don't pay attention to them, or if you are missing from your consideration, there's a big cost. What is the cost of missing these inner metrics is whether the inner climate is ignored, the outer world suffers. Okay, if you ignore how you are inwardly, not stressed and not burned out, that's good. But if you're stressed, if you're burned out, and that reality is ignored, then the outer world of yours will suffer. You won't be performing job very well, you won't be taking care of your family very well, and you won't have relationships, all those things come out. Okay, so then burnout becomes normal. Exhaustion, cynicism, and detachment are now so common, they are considered just part of the job, right? We have normalized a state of chronic depletion, and that catches up with us, and they say, I am not able to work very well. There's so much chronic disease that become common too. I'm old, I can be chronic, no? Stress related conditions like hypertension, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, they are epidemic. The body keeps the score when the mind never rests. That's why you have to calm your mind always, I am talking about. And then our attention that has become fractured, right? Deep focus is now a rare skill. Most professionals struggle between dozens of inputs and never fully present anywhere. They're going one thing to the other, one thing to the other, not really relishing it, not learning from it, not enjoying it. Okay. And then relationships become transactional because when we are running on empty, interactions become exchanges of utility. How can I use this person? How is this person going to be useful to me? That is transactional thing rather than expression of genuine connections. They are not there. Genuine connections are not there. They don't want to even listen also. And their old age becomes long but not luminous. Okay, we extend lifespan without cultivating the wisdom, leaving people with decades of existence but little vitality, purpose, or peace. They're miserable. That's also there, all the world people. Okay. So, what I developed from the proactive wellness solution, that's an axis we developed, a fundamental reorientation toward whole human progress. How can we develop as a from GDP only progress to whole human progress. There are countries which have this happiness index, and they're pretty happy with a very meager resources. Bhutan is an example. From GDP only progress to whole human progress. Not just the GDP, but it is included in the whole human progress. So an economic growth matters, okay, but it is insufficient as a solitary North Star. So we need metrics that account for resilience, meaning, relationships, and inner health. All of this. Okay, that's a mistake. And from the reaction culture, we want to a responding culture. Reactive is fast, automatic, and often destructive emotionally, right? But response is conscious, skillful, and grounded. It comes deep within us. So proactive wellness trains the nervous system to default to response, not to reactive. And then from consumption identity to consciousness identity. This is the part of the power solution I'm talking about. We have been conditioned to define ourselves by what we own, achieve, and display. But Paul invited a shift toward defining ourselves by the quality of our awareness and the presence. Not how fast are we growing, but how well is the grower thriving? See, that's where I see a lot of burnout, a lot of stress. So if you can consider joy as your return on investment of your human life, see, this is a boardroom friendly reframing of inner wellness. For leaders who are accustomed to spreadsheets and performance dashboards, the language of joy and inner peace can feel abstract, but the business case is it concrete. It can it's a really concrete. The business case here is inner resilience improves the retention, safety, and performance. The more resilient you are, the more easy you are. But employees who are not constantly stressed, they make fewer errors. That for sure, and they stay longer. And collaboration is more effective with them because they are not constantly stressed. That's the value. Suppose they are calm attention that reduce errors and also rework. They don't have to repeat the work again to correct it. It's a mind trained to focus deeply, a mind trained to focus deeply delivers higher quality output in less time. That's common sense. We know that. But are we doing it? And how many people put up with attention, with a lack of attention? That's a epidemic these days. And then purpose and service. If you have a purpose of what you're doing, if you have a service orientation, the whole culture will be elevated and leadership qualified. And then the leadership quality really improves with purpose and the service attitude. That's why I train what's called servant leadership. Okay, so you are a leader, but you're going to provide a service to the whatever you are helping, right? So when work becomes an expression of contribution rather than extraction, okay, then engagement and innovation they flourish. You are you are loving to engage and you are loving to innovate. All those things flourish because you are offering for certain greater cause than yourself. See, healthier humans lower the total cost of care over time, right? Prevention is exponentially cheaper than crisis intervention, which we are doing now in healthcare systems and in workplaces. What we do is we have the crisis intervention a lot rather than really providing preventive care, right? So joy is not a luxury; it's a systems stabilizer. Systems organization run on human nervous systems. When those systems are calm, clear, and resilient, everything else from decision making to customer experience they improve. This is the return of investment. You can be not only in health terms or energy, not only in the ROI of regular material things. So what are these key performance indicators that we can measure? Whole human KPIs I came up with. If we can measure quarterly results like we do in any company, we can measure inner resilience. How? See, the reluctance to track inner well being, it often stems from the belief that it is too subjective or complex. Those are the answers we get. But just as financial health has multiple indicators, cash flow, profit margin, debt ratio, all those things, right? Human wellness can be tracked across so many domains with simple, practical methods. Let us consider domains of body, breath, nervous system, mind, heart, and spirit. Okay, let's go to practical metric examples and then what's the simple track method. Take body. How well are you sleeping? Your quality of sleep. How well are you mobile in minutes? or how many minutes are you mobile in the day, and how information friendly your meals are. It's not exaggerating the information. Okay, those are the things that you can measure. Sleep quality you can measure. You can measure how many minutes you are mobile, and also how much meal you are doing that is information free. So what do you do? You can just wear any wearables that can measure these things. Sleep quality it can measure. It can measure your steps, and then it can also look at your diet and tell you what it is information or not. Okay, so these are daily check-in plus wearable. It's optional, but you don't have to optional. You can know whether you're sleeping well or not. You can know whether you're moving about as much as possible, and also what kind of diet, right? That is the body domain, the practical metric examples, and then tracking methods. But when it comes to breath and nervous system, what is my resting breath rate? What is my heart rate variation trend? Am I taking a long time to calm down or less time to calm down after stress? Somebody says something, do I have an emotional reaction? And then how soon I come back to the calmness of myself? How do you do it? Just 2 times a day, breath practice. And weekly, just review and sit down and review all the meetings, all the important things that went on the weekend and review them. That's a simple tracking method. Okay. And then if you come to the mind itself, the domain of mind, how focus blocks, how many blocks you have completed for. Suppose you will say, I'm going to be focused for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever that you have established yourself, the blocks of time and you are focused. And you will take those numbers and see how you are doing. And also, how intense your chatter of the thought in the mind and how react to your, you can count so many events. Yeah, today I have 4 or 5 events where I reacted violently in my meetings, for example. And then you can just track it by 1 minute awareness law. Every 1 hour, take 1 minute, be aware of what is going on and log it, either in your mind or in your book or whatever. And that heart itself, this is a heartful thing. This is about acts of service, gratitude movements, and relationship repair efforts. All these things are related to the heart. You can do the micro journal prompts on this and then list them and then review them and reflect on them. And then finally, the spirit. How is the stillness is in your life? How many stillness minutes you have? How you have a self-inquiry practice of your own behavior, your own reactions, your own understandings and all that. And then what is the sense of meaning about everything? Do your life has a meaning? Do your work has a meaning? Do your relationship has a meaning? All those things. So this is about how you do a weekly reflection, how you do your guided practices and all that. So according to the domain, whether it is the body or breath and nervous system, mind, heart, and spirit, you can have so many practical metrics that you can measure. And then you can track them with a simple method like I mentioned above. Okay. See, none of this require advanced degrees or expensive equipment. Note that they require only intention. I want to know how silent I am. I want to know how attentive I am. I want to know how heartful I am. All these things, right? Intention, consistency, and the recognition that inner health is as important as external output. Okay, so I have developed a protocol. I'll go more detail as we go on, but I'm going to introduce you. It's a small practices, but then they become compounding over time, big compounding. Okay, so small practices, morning. We know we do the morning routine, we do the integrated practice, 10 minutes combining gentle movement, yoga or walking or whatever, and conscious breathing and present moment awareness. This morning routine sets the tone for the entire day, calm, grounded, and intentional. Right? That's how you start the morning. Then midday comes, you want to reset the whole thing before key decisions, difficult conversations, or stressful transitions, or pausing for a minute for breath and awareness. All these things, you can do that just by pausing that 1 minute. This simple intervention prevents reactivity continuing and improves outcomes. So, 60-second reset in the mid of the day. And during the entire day, you do work like a service, like we talked about, skillfully, without ego or strain. Okay, so skillfully, without ego or any expectation by the ego now. So focus on the quality of your effort and contribution, not obsessively on outcomes or recognition. No profit, no personal gain, no egoic, you know, elevation. Say this reduces burnout and increases fulfillment. And finally, when you go back home after you serving all day, then evening unwind is to reflect on the day. Close the day with a gentle unwinding of the body and then brief reflection what went well and what did not. And you can also use measures like a yoga nidra or corpse pose or dead man's pose, all those things to unwind your muscles and mind. And then let's go to a deep restful sleep that supports recovery and integration. See, a calm mind is an economic asset and it's a human being birthright. See, organizations that invest in cultivating this capacity, they will outperform those that continue extracting from depleted humans. You are just whipping the horses that are tired, that are depleted. How far they can go? That is what's happening in. So realize this within that inner calm, inner peace is very important. That doesn't come with outward things. And then once you realize and live that, you radiate that outward. And then you will be contributing to the earth also because you are a caring, considerate, and recycling individual that can help the consumption to go down because you are finding what you need, the peace and joy within, not out there in the things. So you will consume less, you will consume more uh, kind of responsibly and regenerate also the earth definitely. So this is the proactive wellness I was talking about. If you join the morning session, deploy that proactive awareness of deep breathing, relaxed body, flexible body, and being in the present moment awareness and all that. We are going to implement this in clinics and companies and communities that is there, but you can also train yourself and you can be a facilitator if you want. If you are really doing it and you are scaling it, you can very scalable implementation also on that. Okay. So hopefully all this makes sense to you. And I'm experimenting with all these things with myself, with my family, with my friends, and everybody. But it's up to each one to really look at this and really come to the conclusion that inner peace and joy, which we look for this season of joy, uh, is very important, right? So I consider those are our special traits as human beings, as intelligent human beings, and we should take advantage of that. Cultivate the stillness of mind, then you have the inner peace, no matter what the outer situation is. But if you really consider joy out of material things, you will notice that they last only short time. You can go after a car, dream about the car, want to own that car, then you go and buy it. Yeah, we were happy for a few days, but then that ends, right? then we'll be looking for something else. But this no cost joy, and that's called ananda, joy and peace and quietness and happiness, that is inherently available to us. It is there without any cost. You just have to calm your mind. You just have to go, really not going after external things or escaping the void or meaninglessness or inner emptiness with replacing habits. That's how people become addiction to so many things. These days, people are addicted to information, thoughts, constantly. Can you see whether you are quiet for a few moments? That's the test I usually employ for many people who come saying that they're such a big subject matter experts on such a field, or they have so much information about so many things. That's all fine. But can you really take the information, integrate into an insight, integrate a practical thing that you can employ, and then go from there? Right? So that's the test you can apply yourself. What did I do today? What are the things that happen? For me, this talk is meaningful because I'm pointing out something that season is celebrating joy and peace. What I came to know is joy and peace is not out there in some ritual, in some festivity, and all that. It may be there transiently. It may calm your mind down. Yeah, you can do all of that. But don't ignore something that's much more profound within you. And my proactive wellness is all about inner quietness, inner allowing the energy and coming out of us. Realize that and radiate it outward. And then help yourself to be abundant inwardly so that you don't have a random consumer all over. You can take things that are important, that are needed, but just finding some kind of pleasure in outward things, and you know that is brief and it is going to long last. So you want to go for the lasting thing that is deep within us. So this is a Zoom presentation actually. I sent only a couple of people invitations. Peter, I sent it, and also I sent to my wife just to see how that is going, presentation and all that. From now onwards, I'm going to connect this to Restream to the Zoom session so that they will all be there as presentations so that you can see the presentation I prepare to do this in an organized fashion so that it's much more useful for you. Okay, so that's what I was doing today. I have all this big presentations on the screen that you could see and enjoy the slides too. Okay, so I have learned how to make this presentation very quickly. Whatever topic that I want, I can make that really appear very nice in a nice format. That's the contribution of the AI. To my ideas are mine, but the presentations with the slides and everything is AI, and that's just to make it easier for people to understand, also attractive for them, and maybe use that later if they want to uh, see for their own learning, for their own understanding, and for their own distribution to friends and families that they think they will be benefited by this. Okay, so from onwards, if you want to join me on the Zoom, you can send me your email and I will make a list of people. Peter is on my list, Janet is on my list. So some of the people who are interested were coming to me, I have been allowing them to have that, and so that they can come and join us. So most of these will be on the webinars, so you can enjoy them much better. Okay. I don't know. Peter came late a little bit, but I hope you got the gist of it, Peter. It all motivated by the uh, CNBC presentation of consumer sentiment, GDP, and all that. Then I wondered, See, this is the season of joy and peace. And in ancient ways, where they have used these metrics to measure the quality of the inner peace and joy. So I came up with these ideas, and then I kind of made some slides, and then I thought I will present this today. And I will repeat that a couple of times so that people who missed it can come back and see it. But I'm on the restream too, so but you cannot see the slide there. You can only. I'm trying to connect Zoom and the restream. So next time restream, you will be seeing my Zoom stream with all the slides and everything. Okay, and also people who want to come and participate, that's fine too. Okay, so any questions or anything that you don't agree or do agree that you see for yourself this is good, or do you have any clarity questions or what do I mean by all this? So you can come up. But if you listen to the whole lecture, then you will get much more. Probably I'll be announcing the time for which subject I'm going to talk about ahead so that you could prepare for it or you could record it or whatever. And that way it is much more in your notice rather than slipping by because you are occupied with some other talk or something. But if you think this is important, then you should know ahead of time this is coming. I think at least I will do weekly or one day announcements so that people can catch them. Okay, so we'll try to do that. Okay, but first combining all the streams of Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, Instagram, all those are connected to the restream, and then from the restream. Uh, they're connected to the Zoom. So if I open the Zoom, all these presentations, the slides, and interaction with other people should come on there. And that's also part of the webinars I'm doing too. So, particular topic, I may take it. For example, breathing, and I can teach you a lot on the breathing, right? And you want to learn, you want to improve because breathing is such a vast thing, such a big thing. So you don't want to say I know everything about breathing. No, we don't know. We know very little. So I will like to present about all. Do you know the breathing that is coming to us? We call prana. Then prana is divided into five different ways it goes into the body. Different organs are different. Prana name is given. One of them is prana, and the other one is apana, upana, all that, right? Those five types you understand, then you understand each system is nourished by one particular type of energy there, and how we can take advantage of that kind of insight from the ancient people and really help our illnesses and really help our regeneration of our organs and longevity and vitality and how energetic you can live, all those things will be advantage for you because you are dealing with a fundamental pranic structure, which is the life force structure. Most of the modern people they breathe very shallow and they don't understand there are certain measures you can do to nourish the organs that way. You know, so that is something I think very valuable for people to learn and practice. You can't be this modern person always on the hurry, always going about never have any peace, never sit down anywhere. All that will be controlled by just sitting down and applying deep breathing for yourself. Okay. So anybody has any other questions, anything before I hang up, you can come up and talk to me. So as I announce these topics, look for them, and then if you want to make time for them, or go for the recordings, whatever. Whenever you hear, if you have some doubts or some questions or some experience of your own you want to share, feel free to DM me. I'll be happy. You don't have to be live here, but be aware that I'll be doing important lectures for the human being. Okay, important lectures that will help you with your inner resilience. Important lecture that will help you to be proactively well. Understand so many measures that you could do proactively within your own realm of life. You don't have to spend money, you don't have to buy equipment. You just have to open up your mind and understand these ancient principles, life principles, life ways, living skills that you can develop where your brain works much sharper, much more focused, much less energy spent. Flow ways, right? I work in a flow. Like I'm doing this talk. I don't have any conflict about it. I wanted to come and talk about something, share something, and I'm doing it willingly in the spirit of service, the spirit of helping people live without the stress and burnout that people are doing, without the fear and anxiety people are doing, without really not finding the meaning or purpose in their own work. Those kind of, or people who are having everything, but they have void inside. They have emptiness inside. They have no meaning inside. Those kind of people also discover what is that means to be a human being, how valuable that is. Not only valuable, but you can have this inner abundance touch by yourself and really be away from all the weaknesses that people display in times of stress, in times of normal also they get bored. I never got bored, so you can be, because it's so exciting to be this kind of human flourishing inward and bringing it outward. So, Peter, I invited you to the Zoom. I don't know whether you saw your invitation or not, but this is a random. But from here onwards, probably every day in the morning routine, we'll incorporate some of these talks, and also I will use the combination of Restream and uh, Zoom. That way, you can see me on several platforms and then also follow along if you want to, or come and join me with any questions or anything that you want to ask me about. Okay? So, Peter, you want to come and tell me you got any essence of this or not? This is why we want to plan so that people are ready for these talks and then really take interest and contribute too. This random, whenever I feel like coming in, works for me, but it may not work for many people who want to explore these things much further. They can join my classes, that's fine. But then I do so many topics different ways. So I am busy every time, but then I also do it according to what I think considered important. Okay, this proactive wellness is something that I want to take to everybody. I want to make sure everybody is really looking at it, understanding it, applying it is part of it. You are working with your illnesses, but at the same time, you learn new ways of keeping your vitality and your wellness. I think you should be doing that. That way, you can avoid going to the clinics and hospitals that much, and you can avoid, you know, people don't have insurances. It's going to be very difficult, and then it's going to be pretty tough for maintaining the illnesses with a regular input from your provider. So take advantage of the technology that can monitor your health. Take advantage of the insights that we have from ancient times till now, and then use them. So usually doctors are supposed to use them and tell them and educate them about the new breakthroughs and also what are the gaps that we have in modern medical treatments, and all that to keep you vital, longer, joyful, and really work well with efficiency, skillfully. Okay. I mean, you may think this is all free stuff, this is all something nothing, but it's a very valuable if you realize that. If you don't realize that, too bad. You know, then people are living like that. People are getting stressed out, burned out, chronic illnesses, mental illnesses, drug addictions, all these things are going on. So responsible doctors are doing, at least appreciate them and adopt them and improve them. Okay. If you're already doing that, come and share them. Okay. Thank you then. I will see you again, maybe sometime today and tomorrow morning for sure. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Do you want to come up or do you want to? Are you busy? Maybe you're busy.